Welcome to Metals Investors Forum. My name is Brian Leni. I'm the editor of Junior Stock Review Premium. Today with me, I have Jessie Liu-Ernsting of FireFly Metals. FireFly is a tremendous story, especially in this market. We've got a $6 copper price. We've got a development story, really close to production story in Newfoundland, arguably one of the best jurisdictions in the world to be developing. Why don't we start off with how you ended last year with a resource update, what that looks like, and sort of where you're headed this year.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brian. We're really excited by our resource update from November of 2025. And it had contained metal of over 1.4 million tons of copper and over 1.1 million ounces of gold. And that's in the measured and indicated and inferred categories together. But close to 70%, and to be more precise, 67% of that is in the measured and indicated categories, which is important for us as a ASX listed company because ASX stipulates that majority of your resource, namely over 70%, have to be in the M&I for any economic studies. So we're close to it, and we're very excited to convert more of that inferred resource into measured and indicated to feed into our upcoming PEA to be released in the first half of this year. And so we're really excited that it's proving out to be a globally significant BMS system. And another exciting part about that is not only was it already high grade at 2% copper equivalent in the measured and indicated category, but our recent drilling leading up to the resource update, we identified this high-grade core zone that's at 3.9% copper equivalent. And that's we're seeing the conversions of the BMS and the footwall stringer zones coming together, and that has really thick true widths that's really amenable to bulk tonnage mining, which, as you would know, it's very economic.
Yeah, it's very exciting too. And so that's at the past producing Ming Mine. In that depth, you've extended it, converting those inferred, like you said, to measured and indicated. But the exploration potential, having been on site in September, I think really opened up my eyes to what that exploration potential is across your district scale package on the Baber Peninsula. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just to wrap up the resource at the Ming Mine and the exploration potential down along the strike, we have another 400-meter long downhole EM conductor that we've identified, and that's going beyond the drilling that's gone into the resource estimate. So, at the edge of that, we're actually seeing some of the highest grade and best and most continuous intercepts, namely the 49 meters at over 6% copper equivalent. So we are, very excited to, continue to define that into and discover that into with the resource category, first inferred, and then, improve the confidence from there. So that's the Ming Mine. But to your point, we have over 300 square kilometers of a large land package surrounding that area and on the Baber Peninsula that hosts 8 past producing mines. So that's right away very prospective land package. And we've done a VTEM survey on that land package, and we've identified multiple geophysical anomalies that mirror the geophysics signature at the Ming Mine. So we're very excited to follow those up and systematically drill test them using the flow-through shares that we've just raised at the end of last year. And so we're well-funded to execute on that strategy. And, the idea is to define this as a multi-deposit district, hopefully similar to Phling Flong for Hut Bay. But we're very excited to prove this out to not only be a single asset story.
There's a real advantage to having access to infrastructure. If you look at the companies that stand, I think, at the top of the list in terms of premiums from the market, recognition, I think you guys are getting that, and that's because of that infrastructure, because it's past producing. Can you tell us about what needs to happen in this new version of the Ming Mine that was different than previous, and I think obviously is going to be at the root of your success when it's all said and done?
Yeah, so unfortunately the previous operator even though the resource was already large scale, they were not well capitalized. And so unfortunately, they ended up having to use this small mill that was 40 kilometers away. And trucking the ore all that way.
100 kilometers away.
Yeah, and then trucking shipping the concentrate backwards another 140 kilometers away. So it's not the most efficient way of, leveraging that resource. And the other issue with that is that then your tailings is 40 kilometers away from the mine. So they ended up having to leave crown pillars in the ground, having already done the development to them. So a third of the resource was left behind, even in the areas that they've previously exploited. So our plan is completely different than that. We're looking at ways to utilize that mill. It is an asset for us, but not for our deposit. There are other activities happening in Newfoundland, and so that could be a way for other companies to derive value, and for FireFly shareholders to derive value from that. But for us at the Ming Mine, we're looking to build the process infrastructure right on surface, and so eliminate that trucking cost. And also, we are already environmentally permitted for 1.8 million tons per annum operation for that throughput. So, and the plan is that then we'll truck the concentrate only 6 kilometers away to the Pine Cove deep water port, which is, we have the port access agreement already signed. So, again, we're already environmentally permitted for that underground mine, that mill infrastructure, as well as tailings management facility. So that's how we're proposing to, fully utilize the scale, the large scale at the Ming Mine to, derive value for our shareholders.
That's excellent. So you guys have got a lot of things planned. You got some drilling, exploration, and some delineation between inferred and measured and indicated. You're going to do a preliminary economic assessment. A lot of stuff planned. You hinted at flow through cash to pay for some of that drilling. Mm-hmm. What's your cash position like?
We just did a large raise at the end of the year, so we're fully cashed up at over 200 million Canadian on the balance sheet to fully fund our drilling and project development, as well as some early works program to shorten that timeline to production.
Which is, I think, so important in this market. I think if investors are looking for that opportunity, it's in those types of stories that are so close to production. And I just think especially you guys, again, stand out because of what you already have in place and that smaller gap between, you being a development story and a producer.
Yeah, 100%. So we're, really blessed by where our asset is located, on the island of Newfoundland. It's very accessible, an hour and a half along paved highway from a commercial airport, 6 kilometers away from the deep water port, surrounded by not only supportive communities, but also skilled labor from those communities. And, supportive provincial government who issued our environmental permit within 45 days. And, in addition to all of that, we do have that, sunk infrastructure that was invested by the previous operator, that they invested over 250 million of Australian dollars worth of infrastructure. And a lot of that is still operational, right? So the whole underground development, over 20 kilometers of underground development is all operational. And, underground development costs anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a meter, right? So just do the math on how much that alone is worth. So, we're truly blessed by having this asset, and excited to progress it toward PEA by the end of, within the first half of this year, and feasibility by the end of the year.
It's excellent, rapid pace. Mm-hmm. Jessie, thank you so much for coming to Metals Investors Forum with me, and I highly suggest you all check it out too.